I've had Mint Mobile for about 2 years now, and I use it around my house and around my city, but I've never used it on a road trip. So today, we're going to double up the road trips. We're going to go to Alabama and the coast in Mississippi and see how Mint Mobile performs on the road. Let's get into it. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Adrian Reddix, and let's talk about Mint Mobile for a quick second. Before we get into the trips, let's go over what Mint Mobile is and what they do. So Mint Mobile is what you call a mobile virtual network operator. What does that mean? That means anything from the infrastructure and all that. Mint Mobile owns none of that, but they do buy space or buy time or buy data or however you want to do it from a company like a T-Mobile or AT&T or Verizon, right? They are a full-fledged phone company. They just don't own any of the infrastructure. But it's still, you still have your same number. You don't deal with AT&T or whoever owns the tower. You're dealing with Mint Mobile. So it's all the benefits of having a service, but they didn't have to invest any money in the infrastructure. So MVNOs, you have a lot of them out there. You have TracFone, you have Net 10, but that's going away pretty soon, and different things like that. So, or Simple Mobile is another one. So at the beginning of the year, I went to a place called Clear Point, Alabama. I live in central Mississippi, and I was traveling through a lot of little towns when we were going through that trip. It did fairly well. There were some spots where it just didn't work, but I also had my other phone, and it was, if one of them didn't work, the other one didn't. But I didn't have a lot of places where Mint Mobile wasn't working. It would be some remote town that I didn't get service for about 30 to 40 seconds, or very low. I call it degraded service, but like the service bars were very, very low. And it was a pretty good trip. Now, once I arrived to Point Clear, Alabama, I've been living in Mississippi all my life. I've never seen such a pretty place as Point Clear, Alabama. Stayed at the Grand Hotel for a tech conference, and it was good. I walked around, used my phone. At that time, I still had a Samsung S8, and it was showing its age. You could use older phones on Mint Mobile, but at some point, it's a physical device. It's going to fail. It's going to degrade. And, it's going to be better as a relic or a piece to look back at to see how technology was, as opposed to using it for something modern, right? So that was one of the last times I used my S8. Now I have a Samsung Galaxy A53, and that one's amazing. And that's what my current Mint Mobile number is. As far as performance, while I was in that part of Alabama, I had no issues. The service was clear and strong. I was getting anywhere between 30 megs down and 15, 20 up. It was pretty good for where I was at. And I have this thing about not connecting to public Wi-Fi. I don't like it. I will never do it. I know what's going on out there. I use the hotspot on my phone to run my computer. I think I had my MacBook with me at the time. It did extremely well as a hotspot. Mint on this trip was a very good thing to have, because whenever my other phone had some performance issues or it was a little weak in some areas, the Mint Mobile phone kind of stood up. Mint Mobile did not let me down. And going back, it was a very similar experience. Like I was listening to an audiobook the whole way down, and it was no issues, and so except for a couple hiccups. But on the way back, I was listening to internet radio, and it was no issues on my way back. I don't know if it was just the weather or I wasn't holding my mouth right. I don't know what it was. So that was a great trip. That was in the beginning of this year. And I have some videos. You've seen me put it on there. Now, mind you, I'm not a good travel content creator, a travel blogger, so I don't take the best videos outside of my studio, right? Or my corner in my living room. It's pretty cool though. Let's talk about my second trip that happened a couple months ago. And that's going to be to the lovely Biloxi, Mississippi. I am originally from Biloxi, Mississippi, but I had a conference down there and I was like, oh, this is going to be another good one. Let's go ahead and test it out. And the results were very similar to the time I went to Clearpoint, or Point Clear, excuse me. I think that the signal was, in my opinion, better in my trip from Central Mississippi to the coast. And when I was down there, I was going to bring a company issued hotspot, but I forgot it. So what I did whenever the conference was over for the day, I would go to the coffee shop and I would go and play Hearthstone. It's a card game online. It's a digital card game. I've been playing it for 10 years. And I sat there with my coffee and got on my hotspot and used that for the whole time I was down there. It was my outside of my phone, it was the only source of internet I had, and it was always very strong, very fast, and it was always connecting. For the service, like, I understand that a lot of that has to do with the phone, but a phone is just a piece of something if it doesn't have anything to help run it. And I think from what I've experienced with Mint Mobile, I'm sold on Mint Mobile. That's why I got my wife, my daughter, and my mother-in-law on Mint Mobile, but that's a story for another day. If you guys are interested in Mint Mobile, I have a referral code in the description. Mint Mobile does not sponsor me. I've never had a meeting with Mint Mobile, so none of that stuff. It's just a referral code they give everybody that I put in my description. If you're interested, consider using my referral code. If you want to know more about Mint, I have some other videos about it and my experience with that. And look forward to this one in the future. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one.